One of the things that we really strongly believe is that dating is a very important thing. We don't find ourselves in marriage unless we date, and so if we date correctly, it's our contention that we should have good marriages, that nobody should want out of them, that divorce would just be a complete rarity. So we want to give some principles that will help you in the dating process, and so two principles I want to give you center around this concept of how does marriage fit into the dating process. And they're going to sound a little contrary to each other, but just buckle your seatbelt and ride along with us. The first one is that I think that marriage should not be the goal of dating. Now, it's the end result of dating, but it shouldn't be the goal in dating. And why do I say that? I think when we make marriage the goal in dating, it becomes our focus. And so we can be hearing wedding bells instead of hearing alarm bells. And we can be painting stop signs green when we should leave them red. And we can be focused on this event rather than being aware of where I am and who I'm with. And we can want to speed things up so I can, again, get to this particular thing that I think is important rather than slowing down and getting to know the person. I am a little bit amazed at times. I've never said this, but I've been amazed at times when somebody will say, I didn't know he was an alcoholic, and I didn't know she spent money like water, and I didn't know that he or she couldn't keep a job, and I didn't know that he or she was married before, and they never told me that. It's so on and so forth. To me, it just seems like, I'm not being judgmental, but it just seems like a real oddity that somebody would find themselves in a wedding or in a marriage situation without having known some of these things. There was something going on where they weren't concentrating on what they should have been concentrating on. So what is the goal in dating? I think it's fairly simple. The goal in dating is to fall in love. And so if I get my focus on the right thing, it puts my focus on this person, and it puts my focus on their characteristics, and it puts my focus on what am I looking at and what's right, what should be right regarding marriage, and does this person fit into that? Are they responsible? Are they ready? Do they not have violence, and can they keep a job, and all that kind of stuff? And if we make falling in love the goal, we slow down. And the end result of making love the goal means that when we come to that place where we want to get married, it's like some people say, it's like falling off a log. It's like stumbling off a dock into the water. It's just a natural result. It's just a matter of making the arrangements to get married. But it's the most significant event prior to a marriage, is finding out, do I really love this person? And sometimes when you see people that are arguing in their marriages, and that stuff happens, I don't think we need to paint a picture that marriage is just this ideal condition. But when you find people that are just antagonistic against each other, and they say they regret the decision and all that kind of stuff, it's just maybe love was not a part of the process. Maybe they didn't take the time to fall in love. Now, I think that you can learn how to love, and I don't think you should bag out of a marriage because maybe you didn't go through a super good decision process, because you went through enough of a decision process where you were attracted to this person. So I think you can fall in love, but it's amazing to see people that just look like they never went through that process of really loving this person. What's the second aspect that I think is important? Again, it's going to sound contrary, but I would encourage you to make marriage, an important part of the dating process. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you should have marriage in mind when you're looking for somebody. If I wouldn't date somebody where you don't feel like they're marriage material. I wouldn't go on a date just because you want to be nice. If this person doesn't fit into somebody that you think you would want to be with, just say no. It's okay to say no. It's better to say no and not get locked into this thing where they're calling all the time and you're having a hard time saying no. It's better to say no up front, politely, than to get involved. And if you find yourself involved, it may be that you end up taking this person home when you really didn't intend to, for the wrong reasons. Or It may be that you're involved in this process and you're kind of going through the motions, and the right person comes along, and here you are, you with somebody else, and they see you and go, oh, well, so and so is with somebody else. I'm just going to keep going and find somebody that's not attached. So you may miss the right person because you were in the wrong spot, and we don't want that to happen for you. So again, two important things. One is to make love the goal in dating, and second of all, be marriage minded enough to say, I don't think I want to go on a date with this person because it just doesn't fit into what I think I want to be with. They're just not what I'm looking for, so I don't even want to start the ball rolling. For some odd reason, I want to put these two things in here as additional items. One is, if we can go through a process and be certain about who we're with, and we should be certain before we get married to them, then why should we live together? Excuse me. It seems like living together, the whole basis of living together is because I'm not really sure, and let's go get a house together and see if this works. It's like, that's the wrong footing to be on. You're not sure enough to say, this is the person I want to be with. I think you need to be absolutely sure. And so you start this live-in process based upon this uncertainty. And it's probably why the statistics on living together when it comes to divorce are just, they're above the normal. You're with somebody possibly you just didn't really go through all the homework process on. So I say, if it was me, for me, it's, second of all, it's kind of a moral issue, but that's just my faith. And I don't want to put that on you, but just from a logical standpoint, if you're not certain enough to get married to the person, don't go live with them, and don't live with them. Get certain about whether or not they're the person, and then take the right step. Get married. Take that off the shelf. When I find something I like and I've done my homework, I take it off the shelf, take it to the cash register, and I say, how much you want for it? One other thing I think is probably important to say is that, and hopefully this is the right place to say it, but that kissing is an important thing. I don't think it's like a handshake. I don't think you owe it to somebody because they took you out for a hamburger. I think that kissing ought to be regarded as something special for somebody special. It just can give the wrong signal when somebody kisses you and you go, wow, I guess they really like me, man. This must be something. And then you find out it was just a handshake, and your heart got going, and it was unnecessary. It was something to you, but the other person, it really wasn't that kind of a thing. And I think it can be, I think it could be a necessary thing because somebody may start to get hurt in that process. Make a kiss an important thing and give it to somebody you're reasonably sure that they look like they're a pretty good candidate and that you're really attracted to them and you see this thing going further. May take a couple of dates. I'm not going to give you a formula, but I'm just saying don't give kisses away like they're cotton candy. I think they're far too precious for that. The final takeaway that I want to give to this is that I was in a study group up in Seattle, and there was an older lady that was a part of our group, and she was kind of like from a country background, and she just had these things these one-liners that she would say that just had all this meaning to them, kind of like proverbs in the way that she would say them. And one time I was sitting next to her, and Virginia was her name, but one time I was sitting next to her, she said this thing that just, I think, should stick with me for my whole life. And she said, and this is plain and vanilla, this is short, the way the country folks say it. She said, marry in haste, repent at leisure. Wow. I hope none of us have to go through that process. And so that's why dating is a very important thing. And we want to give you the tools to be able to date correctly so that when marriage comes from you can be absolutely reasonably certain, as 100% certain as much as possible that you asked the right questions, you've gone through the process correctly, you've put certain things off to get to know the situation and the person much better, and that you have fairly good confidence that this is the person that you want to be with for life. I would say 100% confidence. This is the person that you want to be with for life. Okay, maybe 99%. My name is Ken Conley. I'm the author of a book called The Forgotten Option. As always, we hope these videos are helpful and instructive to you. That would be our delight.